He's fucking jacked.
So you think that makes him faster?
That's
a good question.
You think it makes him faster?
That's a good question.
Piss test, how dare you?
But B, I'm not
I
sure.
don't think he's doing anything, but he might be.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Looks
though,
good.
B, that his
Look at
his
that. Come on,
skills-
son. Look at that.
Yeah.
Callan's jerking off to this later.
I am.
100%.
I have a boner that could cut glass right now.
There's a
Holy shit.
photo on one of the websites that shows him at when he's fighting at 47, ripped versus him fighting now at 68, ripped, and he definitely looks thick.
Joe Rogan immediately grabbed attention by highlighting just how audacious Terence Crawford's jump in weight really is.
Do you think Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez?
Yeah, I think he can win.
Okay.
I don't know if he's going to win, but I think he can win.
So
but
I
he's
asked-
going to have to box a brilliant fight.
Crawford isn't just moving up a division, leaping from 147 pounds all the way to 168. That's a
What about
Get away.
Crawford and Canelo?
What do you think of that?
Personally, I'm a big Crawford fan, so I'm going to lean his way. My only concern is just the size. Like, it didn't look like Terence's power transferred in the last fight, so now it's up some more. You know what I mean?
Part of the problem with that is underarm's really good.
Yeah, I mean, but I just think Crawford is. That's weird to say against Canelo, but I think he's the better boxer, and I think he's the guy who can make the better in-fight adjustments if Canelo gets killed.
Gonna be interesting, tell you that.
What do you think?
I don't know. You know, it's a big jump. Go from 54, which was step up to 47, right? So it goes to 54, now they're going to 58. That's so much.
gap most fighters wouldn't dare cross. Rogan praised Crawford for taking the time to gain.
They just have preposterous power, and Canelo is a guy that has power but is constantly working on. There's a great clip of him working with Andy Ruiz. You know that shield, that weird hand shield they hold up for hooks?
Yeah.
And he's like, this is not for speed. This is just power, just power. He's like, don't try to be fast with this, use power. And you see him down there, bro, he hits so hard.
In real functional weight and properly prepare for the challenge, rather than rushing in. Still, even with Crawford's elite skill set,
It's kind of hard to go against Crawford because how good he is and how he figure out ways how to win. You know what I mean? So you can't take nothing from him, and you can't blame him trying to be great. I understand that, but it's gonna be a good fight.
Are you leaning towards him? Do you feel like you're not sure at this stage?
Yeah, I'm not sure because I look at it as if it go to distance, I think Crawford will win. But if Canelo, touch him, it might be a little different. But honestly, I don't know. I think it's gonna be a hell of a fight, and I think it's more of the fans win. You know what I mean? It's two great fighters fighting each other at their best. So it's definitely going to be, an amazing fight, and I think the fans win more than anything.
Rogan stressed the risk, especially against a seasoned powerhouse like Canelo Alvarez.
Both guys have such dynamic, boxing attributes, and like I said, Canelo has to press Crawford. He has to be able to use his size, bully him, and able to land them shots that are going to hurt him and put him in 2 frames of mind. Now Crawford, on the other hand, as much as the size difference doesn't really look like there is a size difference, there is a difference in the weight they've been fighting at. And like I said, Canelo's been fighting as high as light heavyweight. Crawford, in his last fight, did go up to junior middleweight against Madrimov. He did seem to struggle a little bit with a guy at a higher weight. So now you're moving up to super middleweight, will have some effect. But again, it is the biggest fight of his life, biggest fight of Canelo's life, and you're gonna truly think that they're gonna be prepared for anything. But the big thing is, will Crawford be able to dictate the fight against a guy like Canelo Alvarez, who's the bigger man, the guy's gonna be pushing the pressure. We saw the way he dictated and hurt Errol,
who spent years dominating the super middleweight division and has never been knocked down in his career. Rogan also reminded fans,
I'm leaning more towards Crawford as time goes on, and I guess it's just him coming from a lower weight, because it's like, me witnessing a person like Boots that's a lower weight, and it, like, a lot of times weight don't really matter, because I've seen him smash guys that are just like way bigger than him. So I'm looking at it in a sense of, I think Crawford can handle the weight difference. And he could bring, you know, the elusiveness of a lower. I mean, Canelo lower too, but Canelo fight more like a bully in a sense. He's lower too. He's good too, but he just fight more like he fight more with like more strength, overpowering. You know, he has great technique. He's great, but I'm just looking at the athleticism and the will that Crawford always had and always brought, and I'm just thinking of that just transforming into like this weight difference. The weight difference is the only thing that we could pretty much, you know, argue about. But I think with the weight difference, you know, with me witnessing like smaller guys really just like do damage to bigger guys, it's like, you know what, that kind of really don't matter in a sense. It's as long as, you know, you're good on your game, you're good on your feet, and you know you can duck and block some punches.
It's just how dangerous Canelo can be. Pointing to the way he dismantled Billy Joe Saunders, sitting with John Rollo, Rogan summed it up. Crawford is exceptional, but the size difference.
I think Canelo Crawford is a fight, you know, one of the best fights that can be made in boxing. Backwards and forwards on it, if I'm honest. I mean, my worry is, I see the size of Crawford, you know, he looks pumped up, like much bigger obviously than usual. And it's very difficult to do that to your body and go in and perform like you always perform. I don't know if that's going to help him or hinder him. I hate picking against Canelo Alvarez because, you know, I'll say he's a mate. I respect him a huge amount. We work together. I worry if he's the same fighter at this stage of his career. I mean, let's be honest, both guys are old in terms of, you know, fighters in their prime. But what's Crawford, 36, 37? Canelo, but same 36, that's same kind of age, I think. I worry about Canelo's legs. I just, you know, I remember watching the Skull fight, and he was demotivated for the Skull fight, so he can't take too much from it, but I just felt that his legs looked like they were slowing down a little bit. And, you know, can Crawford handle the power at 168? Let's be honest, he didn't look sensational against Madrimov at 154. Like, he's been so inactive. He's been fighting once a year for the last 2 years, 3 years even. Right now, my head is just leaning with Crawford slightly.
Is huge, and the margin for error is razor thin. There's no clear favorite heading into this fight. Crawford's rise has been nothing short of spectacular. Former amateur rival Ray Robinson, who handed Crawford one of his rare early career losses back in 2005, weighed in. Robinson.
Where would you rank this fight out of your top 3 to 5 of all the boxing fights you've called, you've experienced, you've watched? Just the
in terms of the magnitude.
Yeah,
of
the magnitude.
Fight?
Yeah.
I mean, of the fights that I've called ringside, it might turn out to be number 1. I've done Pacquiao fights, I've done Mayweather fights, I've done Anthony Joshua against Klitschko. Those are big fights, but this will, listen, because of Netflix, this will be the most watched fight, championship fight, in almost 50 years. This is going to be, because Muhammad Ali fought Leon Spinks in the rematch in '78, and they did 90 million TV sets. 90 million. And since then, what has even come close? The biggest fights have all been on pay-per-view, and they do 2 million buys. Oh my God, 4 million buys, Mayweather Pacquiao. As I keep saying, if 5 people per TV set watch, per buy, watch, that's 20 million people. This is gonna do multiples of that. So, so when you look at it from like a commercial point of view, it'll easily be the biggest boxing event I've ever covered.
Robinson praised Crawford's ability to adapt and win. He said, if the fight goes the distance, Crawford has a solid chance to outpoint Alvarez, but warned that a clean shot from Canelo could instantly swing the outcome. George Cambozo's Jr.
You got a love for boxing.
Yes, love
Who's
boxing.
Who's going to win the fight, man, that's coming up? The biggest
Crawford.
fight in boxing?
Crawford.
Huh?
Crawford. I'm not hesitating. Crawford. I'm not even hesitating. Crawford.
You going to stand on that all the way to September 13th?
I love Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo by decision. I can't see anybody knocking out Canelo Alvarez. But I do believe that if you can box and you can move, that you can beat Canelo. You can outpoint him.
That's right.
When I think about Canelo, one of the things that I don't like about Canelo, despite his greatness, and a neck as wide as Broadway for crying out loud,
Right.
it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yeah.
That's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, stronger fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's gonna go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight, and Crawford is not. And Canelo is a genius in this regard. You don't see him show up for fights not ready. He's always ready.
always prepared.
He's always
You
ready.
gotta give
He's
him that.
always prepared. So I think he's the slower fighter though. And I think that Crawford is brilliant as a boxer. And I think that between switching to conventional and southpaw, using his jab and movement, I think that Crawford is going to outpoint Canelo because he's faster. But I don't think he's going to.
No stranger to shocking the world himself, shared his perspective. He noted Alvarez's struggles, cutting off the ring in his last fight against Dimitri Bivol, suggesting there could be openings. But Cambozo's cautioned that Alvarez always finds another gear when the stakes are high.
Canelo and Crawford.
No hesitation. No hesitation.
I want to see that fight.
Big Bud. Big Bud. We're going to have to roll Canelo up. We're going to have to pack him up, baby.
But how hard is the jump from 47 to 68?
I mean, listen, it's a very big challenge. But what I said, with his skills and the way he's adapted to the size, brother, when I seen him stand toe-to-toe and side by side, I said, game over. Terence Crawford. And listen, don't be surprised if he stops him. I'm telling you.
Who?
Don't be surprised
if Canelo stops Crawford.
Terence Bud Crawford stops Canelo.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I love you. Skills pay the bills. See that, Cody?
Making this a dangerous challenge for Crawford. Heavyweight Brian Jennings offered a different take. Known for going the distance with Vladimir Klitschko, Jennings dismissed the notion that a big man automatically beats a smaller one. He believes Crawford's speed, skill, and determination could bridge the size gap.
Terence is not a regular guy. You know what I'm saying? He's special. And, you know, Canelo, he's a top-notch fighter, world-class fighter. Still on the pound-for-pound list, I'm sure towards somewhere near the top. And it's exciting. You know, Terence is freakishly strong. He can punch. He's got good crack. He can fight from both ways. Orthodox, southpaw. He can fight at mid-range, closer range, outside. And he can fight going both ways. So it's exciting. It's exciting. It's a big question mark on the end of it, though. So that's why, you know, I'm sure all of us are excited for that bell to ring and, you know, be able to find out firsthand.
Predicting a close fight that likely goes to the scorecards, with Crawford edging a split decision win. Eddie Hearn also weighed in, giving Crawford a real shot if he executes the right strategy. He cited Bivol's 2022 victory over Alvarez as a blueprint. Use movement, angles, and bursts of offense to neutralize Canelo's power. Hearn emphasized that while Crawford can implement this approach, Alvarez is comfortable at 168 pounds, making...
Have you been in there with Crawford?
Yeah.
So you've been in there with Crawford, you've been in there with Canelo. What can you take from sparring both of them to gauge what's gonna happen in September?
Preparation is gonna definitely be everything. Crawford adjusting to the 168 pound division. I know he's been sitting at a heavier weight for a while, but like, you know, he's been showing his training and stuff. So that's definitely gonna help him. Canelo experience. You got Crawford, he got great experience as well. It's gonna be a great fight. It's gonna be a good chess match. I expect a great fight. If I had to favor somebody, I would just pick Canelo because of the weight disparity. Canelo is naturally like sits really well at 168, and it's just always tough for a guy to come to 168 and come from that many weight classes up and do something like that. If he does it, you know, if anybody can do it, it'll be Terence Crawford.
Making it unfamiliar territory for the challenger. By Max Kellerman went even further, favoring Crawford. He argued that although both fighters are aging, Alvarez has accumulated far more wear and tear over nearly 2 decades at the elite level. Crawford, on the other hand, has consistently moved up divisions, defeating top-tier opponents like Errol Spence Jr. and Israel Matt. Kellerman believes Crawford checks more boxes right now, giving the Nebraska native the edge to pull off the upset. Stephanie Smith shared a strong opinion, predicting that Crawford would defeat Alvarez not by knockout, but by decision. While Smith rarely believes anyone can stop Canelo inside the ring, he highlighted Crawford's speed, movement, and stance switching as tools perfectly suited to outpoint the Mexican star. He also criticized Alvarez's tendency to rely too heavily on power punches instead of mixing his offense. Against a fighter as clever as Crawford, Smith thinks that habit could be costly. Still, he acknowledged that Alvarez's size and experience at 168 pounds give him a clear advantage, but warned he must avoid getting drawn into exchanges where the bigger man can dominate. Former light heavyweight champion Antonio Tarver echoed the sentiment. Praising Crawford's intelligence and ring generalship, Tarver admitted Alvarez is a tremendous fighter, but noted Crawford's speed and unpredictability could tilt the matchup. Zap Judah went further, highlighting Crawford's reflexes, quickness, and high boxing IQ as weapons to frustrate Alvarez and wear him down over 12 rounds. Judah even suggested that if Canelo tires in the later rounds, Crawford could force a stoppage. Ecklant, who has faced Alvarez in the ring, offered a more balanced take. He emphasized that both fighters bring different strengths, Canelo with power and experience, Crawford with sharpness and adaptability. To him, the fight isn't just physical, it's mental. The outcome could swing either way depending on who executes their strategy more effectively and imposes their will. Kyron Davis added that Crawford's mental strength and in-fight adjustments could prove decisive. Even with the jump in weight, Davis believes Crawford will retain his agility and intelligence. He sees this challenge as another chance for Crawford to showcase the adaptability that has defined his career. In Davis's view, Crawford's ability to think and react on the fly may be just as important as any physical advantage Canelo brings. All these perspectives underline how split the boxing world is on this fight. Some experts believe Alvarez's size, power, and experience at super middleweight are too much for any welterweight to overcome. Others see Crawford's skill, adaptability, and mental sharpness as tools capable of neutralizing those advantages. As fight night approaches, predictions continue to flood in. One thing is certain: September 13th promises a historic showdown. Will the bigger man dominate, or will Crawford's greatness carve out one of modern boxing's most remarkable victories?